Welcome everybody to session 15 of the Archetypical Mind Study Group. Today we are diving deep into the significator of the body. Let's start with a prayer of light.
Love before me, love behind me, love at my left, love at my right, love above me, love below me, love in me, love in my surroundings, love to all, love to the universe. Peace before me, peace behind me, peace at my left, peace at my right, peace above me, peace below me, peace in me, peace in my surroundings, peace to all, peace to the universe. Light before me, light behind me, light at my left, light at my right, light above me, light below me, light in me, light in my surroundings, light to all, light to the universe.
We thank the one infinite creator for this opportunity to serve, to know ourselves, to accept ourselves, and to become the creator. Let our hearts be filled with gratitude to those of Ra for bringing us the archetypes as a tool for this inner work, and those of Quo for extending our knowledge of these tools. We extend our gratitude to the channeling team at LL Research for bringing us this knowledge. We invite Quo to join us in this working. We also invite our guides, our higher selves, and the ascended masters to grace us with your presence and to show us what we need to know. May all beings find what they truly seek. Amen.
Okay, so we're going to start the session by contemplation on the cards. So just pick whatever card resonates with you and let's just explore the cards from top to bottom. So we have a hanged figure with their feet or legs are creating a cross. What does the image of the entity hanging convey to you? How do you feel about what they're wearing? Is there any significance to the legs, the one that's hanging and the one that's crossed? What is the structure that this entity is hanging from? Is there anything falling to the ground from your entity's hands? Is that significant? How do you feel about the overall tone of the picture? Does it convey fear, joy, release, surrender? What are the emotions that come up when you look at your image? Okay, let's finish our contemplation and go into the quotes that Andy collected for us this week. We're going to start with a few of Ra, and then move on to Kuo and our friends from the Confederation.
Ra. In order for the significator to be what it is not, it then must be granted the free will of the creator. Ra. You may fruitfully view each logos and its design as the creator experiencing itself. The seed concept of the significator being a complex introduces two things. Firstly, the creator against creator in one sublogos, in what you may call dynamic tension. Secondly, the concept of free will, once having been made fuller by its extension into the sublogoi known as mind-body-spirit complexes, creates and recreates and continues to create as a function of its very nature.
Ra, the significator of each mind, body, and spirit may be seen as a simple and unified concept. Questionnaire. Would you give me an example of a complex activity of the body that we have now and how it was not complex prior to the veil? Ra, I am Ra. Prior to the great experiment, a mind-body-spirit was capable of controlling the pressure of blood in the vein, the beating of the organ you call the heart, the intensity of sensation known to you as pain, and all the functions now understood to be involuntary or unconscious.
Ra, I am Ra. The potentiator of mind and of body are both involved in the questing of the infant for new experience. The mind-body-spirit complex, which is an infant, has one highly developed portion which may be best studied by viewing the significators of mind and body. You notice we do not include the spirit. That part of a mind-body-spirit complex is not reliably developed in each and every mind-body-spirit complex. Thusly, the infant's significant self, which is the harvest of biases of all previous incarnational experiences, offers to this infant biases with which to meet new experience.
Indeed, the master known as Jesus had a stark vision of the nature of this illusion you experience. He saw the type of consciousness which you share, with all of its distortions and limitations, as producing a situation in which martyrdom was the nature of the life experience. The brevity of life within the physical body was a melancholy fact to him. The master wished, therefore, to imbue the suffering, the martyrdom of brief lives with a deep and abiding sense of the value and worth of the sacrifice of living a life.
His instructions to his disciples included these words: "If you wish to follow me, take up your cross and follow." This entity also said, "Be ye whole or perfect as the Father is whole or perfect." Discipleship hoped for, that is, the discipleship which Jesus the Christ hoped to inspire, was a discipleship of sacrifice, the sacrifice of attachment to treasure, the sacrifice of the overwhelming attachment which most entities feel to doubt, despair, darkness of mind, and disconsolation.
And as is the case in a substantial number of sacrifices, blood is, shall we say, the physical expression of sacrifice. It is in its way holy or sacred, and it serves as a representative emblem of the depth of dedication and of the cost of this service. It is in fact the chalice offered up to the one infinite creator. If concern enters either the one known as Jim or the one known as Carla's minds, there could be toxic repercussions. If it is taken to be an offering and offered freely, it shall pass. There is in many cases the concept that suffering must be costly. And we say to you, suffering does not have to be costly. Suffering does not have to be blood in the chalice.
Yet, if there is the necessity for that emblem, let us remember with you, for we too admire and follow unconditional love and its servants, the teaching of the one known as Jesus the Christ, who said, "This is my body, this is my blood, it is given for you. Take this in remembrance of me." Take your own blood, symbolically speaking. Know that you are a body to be broken in service, and therefore give yourself, bless your sacrifice, break that body, offer it up and rejoice, for you are not your body. None is body. All are the result of the sacrifice. Move beyond the emblem of sacrifice, and what do you see? Remembrance of the one infinite creator, knowledge and understanding of the power and the peace that lies beyond, all giving and all receiving, and that lives and rests in joy. Nothing is lost, no matter what occurs, for all is one. May you then rejoice, lift the self from the cross, and choose the ascension into bliss, for that too is an aspect of service.
From this deeper perspective, those biological, survival-oriented aspects of the body, from respiration to digestion to elimination to circulation to perspiration to homeostasis, and the various regulatory mechanisms and operations of the nervous systems and organs and so forth, can, on a very simple but profound level, be appreciated for their service to the mind-body-spirit complex.
They can be thanked and embraced, even if they hold distortion or illness in one degree or another. And the relationship then changes from one, perhaps, of hiding or embarrassment or shame or demotion, or, as your people might see it, disgusting or unclean, to that which is of love, that which is beautiful, that which, whatever the apparent distortion, is true.
So if the physical vehicle has the aches, the pains, then we suggest and encourage giving this situation respect and attention. This attention may be simply seeing the physical vehicle as the perfect mechanism, which it is. It may be sending light to those portions of the physical body which are perceived as hurting or ill. Each seeker may find its own way of coming more and more into loving relationship with the physical body, but it is work which will aid in the balance or health of the body, mind, and spirit together.
Again, with that entity to be healed, the preparation involved is a surrender to one's own frailty as a being within incarnation, and to rejoice in the energy which is being shared, and to cultivate a willingness to experience change.
So that creature, which you are, is quite often confused with being a single being, but is actually made up of all that your consciousness is, plus all that the physical vehicle is, which you think of as yourself, but which is in actuality a highly developed second density animal. This instinctually perfect entity agreed, before it was given this life, to be the physical vehicle which carries you about, which gathers data from all of its senses, and which makes available to your consciousness the biocomputer which is your mind. To that animal, that body, that vehicle, all thanks and praise should be given always, for its sacrifice has been complete, its instinctual behavior bowing always to the will that has learned and that accepts, allows, and loves each characteristic of that physical vehicle.
Thus, perhaps the first way of gazing at your conscious behavior that so often is not what you wish it would or could be is to realize that you well may be gazing at instinctual reactions which occur faster than your mind is able to respond. In no way, when this occurs, should the physical vehicle be blamed. In no way should the mind and the spirit governing this vehicle be dismayed or discouraged. There are times in this extremely dense illusion when the survival instinct of your physical vehicle will take over, simply because the computer of your mind keeps the entity alive as a first priority. It is not your spirit that wishes your life to linger. It is your body.
Every aspect of the life of a monk is offered sacredness by the dedication of the entity to the rule of life of that particular monastic order. In such an entity's life, cleaning the house is equivalent to cleansing the spirit of imperfections. Washing the clothing, the body, and the dishes becomes equivalent to dipping one's seemingly soiled self in Om and essence into the transforming water that creates healing and cleanliness within. The preparation of the food necessary to feed the body becomes equivalent to the preparation of the sacrificed and dedicated self to the service of the one infinite creator. Each thing that is done with the intention of expressing devotion to the one infinite creator becomes sacred. Thusly, there is nothing in the everyday and ordinary life that is not sacred.
We sense that your query is focused more upon those disciplines beyond that which would be the prerequisite of meditation. And we may say that there are many multitudes of disciplines that one may adopt within their life in order to continue upon the path of manifesting the presence of the Creator. Each individual will have individual types of disciplines and opportunities available to them that can only be known to the self through first coming into a deep relationship with the self and through developing a mentorship with the Creator, which may then guide the self to those things that might further one's own individual journey with the Creator.
These may take the form of more specific spiritual practices, more specific magical practices, or perhaps even more, you may say, mundane or earthly practices, such as the care for the physical body, the exercise of the physical body, and other types of physical activities that, while may not seem to be related initially to one's relationship with the Creator, are an expression, if done with the intention and the heart of serving the Creator, are indeed a deep form of expression of that relationship. And so, we cannot guide specifically, you may say, except to suggest that within one's meditation, if one is seeking further types of disciplines and seeking further ways to come into relationship with the Creator and expressions of the Creator, that one simply asked for guidance.
This guidance will appear, perhaps not in an obvious way, but if one is careful and listens to the subtleties of the way in which the Creator may speak, then one will become aware of the next step to take and the discipline that one may adopt within their life path to continue the development of this relationship.
You notice that we segregated the body, that is your physical vehicle, your personal animal, which has sacrificed its instinctual life in order that it may house the self-conscious spirit that each of you is. It is not that there is not within the illusion a tie there that cannot be broken and have the physical vehicle sustain life. It is simply that who you are is not that which you see in the mirror. Who you are is not that which loved ones, friends, and enemies recognize as you.
You are, as you look at yourself in the mirror, a system of electromagnetic vibration that is held together as a field so that the various elements within the cells of your body can work symbiotically to sustain a physical vehicle for experiencing of self-consciousness. Now we get closer. We begin to move around the stumbling block of self. If you see somebody in that mirror that is a certain age, weight, sex, makes a certain amount of money, has a certain number of degrees from learned institutions, and a certain number of children, you are falling flat on your face. You are stumbling so much. You must lose all those provincial ideas about yourself if you wish to seek the truth of love.
When one may love the Creator who has caused the whirlwind and the fire and the terrible destruction of great earthquakes, then you will begin to understand that the lessons of love are often difficult and always need inevitably end in the death of the physical body.
It is perhaps easier to see this destructive and creative aspect when one examines, say, the life of a sun or the life cycle of an animal within your second density. There are portions of that cycle in which the animal involved is growing. There are portions in that cycle in which the animal is food for another animal, yet the entirety of the creation is harmonious.
As your body dies, it shall be food for worms, and the Creator has provided natural ways in which the seemingly destructive process of various creatures, like worms and other bugs eating the body, makes it a part of the earth once again, and the cycle of that particular body is complete. Dust to dust, ashes to ashes. That is the sense in which we meant the destructive nature of love. It, in being creative, must also complete the cycle and be destructive, as well as in the natural and organic whole of a 360-degree world.
So, where does this great fear come from concerning these illnesses and this ill health? Certainly, it is easy to see where a great deal of fear is engendered. One need only gaze at the passing of the seasons to see that the seasons of decay and death are within each living entity. As each was born, so each shall pass from this illusion. However, the physical vehicle does not wish to decay or to die. There is a deep and primal instinct towards the continuance of living, the prolongation of the breath. That is a necessary portion of the physical instinctual net of reactions and responses to stimuli. Although this is instinctual, it need not be the attitude which a seeker might choose to work with within the daily life, for the entity that each seeker is infinitely more than the physical vehicle.
The forces of finity and limitation are here for very good purposes, but they work upon the consciousness of a being that is eternal and unlimited, either by space or by time. This consciousness and awareness which each has in common is that which endures as though there were no space or time, but only infinity and eternity. This being which each seeker is a being of pure love, that primal and original energy which created all that there is. When this awareness, which is the deepest portion of your identity, is first housed within the physical vehicle which carries you about, the limitation and frustration of being in that heavy chemical vehicle is immense.
The awareness of the total being, then, begins the incarnation on bad terms with the physical body. The awareness that you are could not make its arms and legs move or its tongue speak for such a long, long time, and indeed, the awareness never seems to completely embrace the physical vehicle. This distance, which is perceived between the self and the ills of the body, is an imbalanced perception, and we encourage each in the daily meditation and contemplation which each may offer to the Creator to do work which more and more creates that bond of unity between consciousness and physical vehicle. Much of illness is due to the disrespect paid to the physical body as that which is not holy.
This analogy or metaphor is the idea that each soul has a vessel of love and attention and care. And as the soul, the entity, interacts with other self, tends to other self, in service to other self, that entity gifts a portion of that vessel's contents, its love, its care to the other self, to replenish the vessel of that other self. Without replenishing its own vessel, you can see how that vessel eventually becomes depleted. And when that vessel is depleted, the ability for that self to act in service to others is inhibited. There is a full stop to that service, for the entity has martyred themselves or sacrificed themselves to that service to others. Therefore, we would remind you that you are worthy of that self-care. You are worthy of replenishing that vessel, whatever that may look like, so long as the intention is ultimately one of service to others, recognizing that the self is an other, is an extension of other.
So, self-care may be seen through two lenses then. Let us examine further the one lens of self-care having to do with service to others. We spoke previously the idea of martyrdom, a situation in which an entity would care so much for others that it neglects the self and is therefore not caring for the self. But we emphasize that self-care is most important in the truest sense of the word, involving love and the energy of the heart. For this is how one develops, grows, becomes more enlightened in the truest sense of the word, through one's own self-care, in loving oneself in a most illuminated way, the most divine way of honoring the self as divinely created. And in this way, the self becomes radiant, glowing, brimming with love for its own being as well as others.
Okay, so we reach the time of meditation.
Take a deep breath in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, in, hold, out, hold, and relax. Relax your body, moving up, starting from your toes, your feet, your ankles, up the shins and calves, your knees, thighs, hips, moving the relaxing energy up your torso gradually, up towards your chest and your shoulders, relaxing your arms down to the elbows, forearms, wrists, hands and fingers, relaxing your neck, your face, cheeks, ears, back of the head, eyes moving up to the crown of your head, and opening up your chakras from your crown, violet ray energy center. Open up your indigo ray energy center, your blue ray energy center, your green ray energy center, your yellow ray energy center, your orange ray energy center, and your red ray energy center. Moving your attention within as deep as you can, and feeling your essence rising up to meet you. And be present with it. You find yourself in a gallery full of many, many paintings, appreciating this space that you're standing in, with paintings all along the walls. You see the one in front of you, of a landscape. It's a picture of a tree with a body of running water next to it, like in front of it. A tree on a bank. And you move your consciousness into the painting, into the water. Is it a stream or is it a river? And instead of getting swept away by the current, you move like a drop of water up into the tree, becoming a part of the tree, moving up through the roots, up along the trunk, and out onto a branch. You stop as a little bud, and you become the little bud on the tree, about to blossom. What color is this little bud? What does it feel like and look like? And little bud blossoms into a flower gradually, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. What kind of flower is it? Are you pleased with this flower? You feel your petals start to wilt and fall onto the ground from the trees. And you grow into a fruit. You see your petals on the ground, decomposing, getting absorbed by the ground, turning into food for the tree. And you as a fruit on the tree, you're growing and ripening. You gradually feel the flesh of the fruit becoming your flesh, the stone of the fruit becoming your skeletal structure. And the fruit becomes your body hanging from the tree. You're suspended from the tree. And your body is offering its service as fruit for this experience. And send gratitude to this body and be with it. What does your body want you to know about this service that it's providing? What do you want your body to know? And sit with this for a while. As you're there, suspended from the tree, you feel your body changing, aging, skin is also changing from its exposure to the sun and the wind. The hard bits are becoming more brittle. And you send gratitude to your body for allowing you to have this experience. And gradually move your awareness out of the picture to stand back in the gallery in front of the picture. And gazing at the picture, you notice the body shriveling up, still suspended, and it's hanging precipitously off the branch of the tree. Shriveling up, falls to the ground, and gets absorbed into the earth to become food for the trees. And you're watching noticing your feelings as you're watching, gazing at this picture. When you're ready, bring your awareness back into the room and bring yourself out of the meditative state.